Good evening, Frederick County in Winchester, Virginia. This is Dana, Charlie, and Scott. We are the 3%. And contrary to some popular belief, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to be out there doing exactly what we do right now because we've just had one heck of a couple months and a heck of a week. So, Charlie, thank you guys for both taking the time tonight, all of us for being here tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Charlie tonight. We're going to do a quick overview of what we see happening and where Mountain Patriots is heading in the wake of an election, in the wake of SNAP, in the wake of the government shutdown, and so forth. So, Charlie, you're the question and answer man. What do you think we got tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I think, thanks, Dana. First of all, I've got a voice problem, as you know. I'll work with it as long, as long as I can. Um, but we have been swept by a blue wave in this country, and we've got to pay attention. We can't go off and lick our wounds and not do anything. We've got to get smart, get educated, get a story that we can pound on to get it out there. It's not that it hasn't been told; it needs to be told by all of us, and louder and more concisely. And so, one of the things you have to do going forward is look backwards
Mm-hmm.
and and the promises that were made by the politicians on the left. They crept a little to the right for the purpose of the election. Uh, and we expect to see a whole lot of things happening based on what they have said in the past. Um, there's a whole issue of, was the election fair? We don't know, but we suspect there's been cheating. Uh, but,
Absolutely.
but we need to move forward and be ready to uh, deal with, counteract, uh, uh, explain the coming, the rising of taxes, the gun confiscation, DEI coming back, um, transitioning children increasing,
Right.
uh, seeing a lot of anti-ICE um, and pro-sanctuary policies. So a whole lot of things are coming our way,
Yep.
and they're not expected, not unexpected, I mean. So we need to get active. We need to get involved. We need to get vocal and maybe even do what Obama said and get in the other side's face at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm-hmm.
He told us to do that back when he was running. So we need to regroup, or in some cases, group for the first time.
Group.
Yeah, and get involved. So what we're need to be all about is being against this creeping advance of left-wing communism, left-wing Marxism, and left-wing fascism, which we see coming. So, what do you guys uh, think about that as an assessment of what's coming?
I think you're right on. Scott, what are you thinking?
Thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're exactly right. My perspective on it. I mean, we didn't have very good candidates. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I agree.
uh, for some
Should have been
reason,
primaried.
we never have good candidates. Oh, we don't. I mean,
I get it.
they're all trying to be nice and they want the media to like it. That's never going to happen. I mean, I'm not a skilled politician, but when I ran, I ticked everybody off because I had a big mouth, but they knew what I stood for.
Right.
And you didn't have to ask me twice. You knew exactly where I was coming from.
Right.
And these people, they tiptoe around the issue all the time. I just, you know, I think Winsome's biggest problem, and this is where she lost me, was when she bashed Trump
Hmm.
on the radio. You
Yep.
know, we need to move away from Trump. I always knew he was going to get reelected as president this last time,
We knew it.
and when she did that, there were people like me, because I really didn't want to vote for her, and I know there are people that, since she bashed Trump, diehard MAGA Republicans said, "I'm not voting for you." And there were other issues with the other candidates, but it's this whole this whole thing about socialism, and it's not socialism. It's facts. It's
It's
communism.
communism.
These people,
Yes.
these kids get into college, and I'm not trying to be sexist here, but usually it's liberal white women
Hmm.
who are just brainwashed that they all they want is communism, leftist
And
ideology,
my
and
body, my choice, and I can kill anything I want. Sorry, ladies.
you can't you they don't know the history of communism. How many millions of people were killed under the communist boot for how over a century? Just millions upon millions of people killed in Soviet Russia, in communist China, Vietnam, Cambodia, all those
Hmm.
places. They tend to forget about that. So it's an education thing for a lot of people. I just don't get it myself.
Well, good. Let me give you a couple of thoughts here. First off, I had I kept towing the line that we were going to win this thing, because if you start going out there and you're being negative about it, nobody's going to vote. But I will say this: towing that line, of 133 counties, or 133, we were number 8. Okay. Frederick County kicked serious butt when it came to getting out there, being at the polls, talking to people, being part of the community. Mountain Patriots is involved in it. Some of the FCRC is involved in it. But, and I'm just going to say it, sometimes I think FCRC is a little weak and meek. It needs to be a little bit stronger. And I think that we learned a big lesson. Um, we exposed, I think also, that we exposed so much. All right. We've exposed the voter fraud. We've exposed different people that are actually out there. We try, as Mount Patriots, everybody knows that one of our tenets is to be nice. You don't want to go out there and tick people off. You want to try to, play nice in the sandbox. You don't want to call people names. You never know if you have to work with somebody later on down the line. It doesn't do any good to go out and bash other people. And I'll give this example. Trump and DeSantis were friends, but you'll notice that DeSantis fell on the sword back in the day by being called DeSanctimonious and DeSanctus and everything else, because he knew that it would actually, from a law of war perspective, pull funds away from other candidates and other people that the deep state was working on. So he did exactly what needed to be done. And he and Trump, they work well together. Does that make sense? I mean, you just they played together well in the sandbox, and you just don't know what's going to happen. But I think a few things woke people up. We're going to see New York, and Trump said the other night that we'll see what happens, but we'll fix it. So he's not worried about it. It's one of those things where he's looking at it going, well, people needed to see it. Hey, don't touch that stove, Scott. Don't touch that. Don't touch. Oh, you burned yourself. Sometimes you can't tell the people, you have to show the people. And that's what's going to happen in New York. That's what's going to happen in New Jersey. That's what's going to happen in Virginia. And then you're going to have your diehard whatever person that's going na 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 to us now. But those are the ones that are go, oh my God, what's going on with my kid? What happened to my taxes? Why is my electric bill so high? Why do I have all these property taxes now? How did this get raised? Where did that come from? Why don't I have any food? And we're the ones that are going to have to be the bigger people, Charlie, and go, you know what, folks? We're here to help you. That's what we do. And that's part of our mission. But I think a lot of stuff got exposed. Proposition 50, I'm not going to say what it is. Go look up what Proposition 50 is, folks. Most people don't know what that is. Prop 50. What happened in New Jersey? I do not think that the spread in the votes was real. I know that there was a lot of places that you could see the vote on who somebody voted for through the mail-in ballot. Okay, we knew they were going to cheat. We knew people are going to cheat. And come on here and tell me that you didn't prove to me that you didn't cheat. Okay, because we'll point it out. But even then, people, I do feel, they figured that that somebody else was going to do the job and go out there and vote. We were going to pull the corporate and the line, and they didn't have a lot to worry about. And Scott is right. I don't think we had the greatest candidates in the world. I don't. What did surprise me though is somebody like Jay Jones, and that speaks to the mainstream media, not telling people, anybody that threatens anybody else's life or the lives of children doesn't belong not only in office, they belong in a psychiatric ward. Okay, they do. I mean, Jay Jones belongs in a psychiatric. Come on, Jay, bring it, brother. Okay, you belong in a straitjacket. But that's just my take on it. Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think all of that is relevant. There's something else that's relevant too, is we now have an Islamic lieutenant governor, and New York City
Time for
has
hijab.
an Islamic mayor, and that's the elephant in the room that nobody talks about.
They're
You
afraid to.
don't hear it, and and what you mentioned, uh, exposing them. Well, they're exposing themselves,
Right.
and we've got to point that out. And when you get people to understand Sharia law, Sharia
Right.
law, then uh, they open their eyes. So,
Well, see? This is the thing. How do you get these people to understand? I understand it.
Right.
How do you
Well,
get these
you pay
people to
attention, Scott.
understand it? Uh, I saw something the other day where I forget who it was in the park, and they were talking to all these LGBTQ activists. And well, are you okay? You know they'll kill you. Yeah, I'm okay with that. They're over there. I'm over here. I'm like, dude, you're voting for it here. I it boggles my mind.
right.
It's not in my neighborhood yet. Here we
No,
go. Put that hand on the
no,
stove. You do not do anything until something happens to you. And then you scream bloody murder that nobody is doing anything for you. That's like um let's eliminate the police. Let's eliminate ICE. And then as soon as somebody's house gets robbed or somebody dies, then they're going, where were they? Well,
Or
you voted for this.
send the social worker to a domestic
Yeah, try that
situation
one on.
where the guy's beating the snot out of his woman. Oh, can you sign this paper that you're going to be a nice guy from here on out? Yeah, that'll work.
And we'll document that for you too
Yeah.
in your court documents.
and
It's
we
just
we need to educate people about that because the mainstream media does not. As I mentioned other times, the power of the mainstream media is the power of omission.
Well, and
yes.
this is the thing about Virginia that just from my
It's a
perspective,
small part of it. It's a small
our
little circle.
our Second Amendment rights are our most important rights. And I looked it up. In 2024, Glenn Youngkin vetoed the assault weapons ban, the waiting period,
399 bills.
expanded background checks, public carry restrictions, lawsuits against the gun industry, home-based gun dealers, and
Right.
safe storage. In 25, it was the assault weapons ban, the waiting period, public carry measures, domestic abuse legislation, and ghost guns. He banned all that stuff. It's coming back with a vengeance. It's still on their desk, and Spanberger's just rubbing her hands together so that she can sign all these things.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
a
people
shame, Scott.
stayed home and didn't vote against it.
Right. If you don't vote, you vote for it. We lost so many delegates. We had 15 people didn't even run in certain counties. And I'm thinking, wait a second. We did not have a candidate for these areas, which I won't go into. You all know who you are. We're not going to pick on you. But this is something that we'll be talking about in the coming weeks with the American Freedom Caucus, and a lot of other groups that we're plugged into. The Loudon Group, that's another group that we're plugged into. We have got to get our ministries going. And I want people to know that Mountain Patriots is not a political pack. Okay, this isn't what we originally started out to do. We got involved with it because we watched everybody else sitting with their thumb up their nose, you know. But there are 7 ministries that we handle. The most important thing is our education ministry, which is what we do with the children. We want to make sure that they're getting a good education and they're not being indoctrinated, which is why we've had people on the school board. The spiritual ministry, we know it's in the book. It's in Rick's book, and most importantly, it's in the Bible. We have our Constitution ministry, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Go through the amendments, and we teach that. We have a civil defense ministry. It may have to come to life. Okay, we're not a militia or anything like that, but we have to protect ourselves at the same time. We have a preparedness ministry. I do see that coming into play. You know, right now we have the government shut down. There's people, I've gotten phone calls from different organizations that we all work with that are looking for food. Okay, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner. Amazon World Services, AWS, is letting 30,000 people go. UPS, 48,000 people. What does that tell you about Christmas? So there's a lot going on. Our preparedness ministry, we're going to try to help people be prepared and have food and so forth. Our community ministry, somebody needs help, we'll be there to do it. And the health ministry. You got to keep yourself healthy. You got to keep yourself active. You got to take the right vitamins and supplements, and you got to be able to get the right care if you need it. And those are the things that we are going to be focusing on, especially in the next few years. And Charlie, what do you have to say about some of the ministries? What do you think are the most important things that we need to put in front of people right now?
I think the education ministry and,
Yep,
the spiritual ministry.
big time.
We need to keep our own mental health. We need to have God in our lives, and the being being able to do all of these. Everybody has different interests, so we can have all of the ministries active by having different people taking the lead on each one, and then that's what we want to find the right people that are willing to share their time, talent, and treasure. And if you can't afford it, that's okay too. We have means of that.
Time, talent, or treasure.
Time, talent, or treasure.
So let's take a look at let's show this to people so that while they're watching, jump on here, get us your email. We'll make sure that you're kept in touch on what's going on. We have an education ministry to educate and restore the culture and our history, our counter political narratives, assist with education, influence the schools. We want people to be able to show up at school boards and help out. I can't do everything, but it seems to me like I'm going to be showing up at some of the school board meetings again. We have a spiritual ministry. We have Bible study. We're putting together a whole program for that. We have our Constitution ministry where people actually understand what we the people really means and be able to hold the politicians accountable. We want to find patriots, expose their corruption, work with the constitutional sheriffs. We are part of COSPA, which is Sheriff Mack's group. There's a civil defense ministry to learn exactly how to defend yourself. And with everything that's going on, you don't want to walk out of a grocery store and not pay attention when you got a bag full of groceries right now. Our preparedness ministry, so you learn first aid, water, food supply, shelter, transport, equipment, fuel, energy, power. Something happens, you're ready to go. And of course, our community ministry, where we can help and assist it with disasters and emergencies for everything from human trafficking to mental toughness. And I do want to take this back to the original page real quick, our homepage, because, and we're going to have to change this a little bit. We'll be going with constant contact and so forth to get this information out to people, because I have people say, hey, Dana, can you send me that? But we have what's called the podcast sign up. And our podcast sign up, people need to know how the United States actually works. We are the greatest country in the world. We are the greatest country in the world. if we weren't the greatest country in the world, we don't see people trying to break out and getting out of here. Okay? Unless, excuse my expression. No, don't excuse my expression, unless you're a libtard. But here's your name, your phone number, your email. We're looking for people that can portray a character, because what we're working on right now is our 250th anniversary podcast. We're going to be 250 years old on July 4th, 2026. And it's MAPA, Make America Patriotic Again. And we want people to have the chance to be a part of this history. So we need the kids, we need the moms, the dads, the teachers, the business owners, history buffs. If you've got a story, we want to hear it. We want you to come on if you'd like to portray a character and actually dress up in that period costume. I know Scott's done it for the Civil War and education. Charlie's done it as George Washington. We've had the Liberty Man. We have somebody else that's going to be Thomas Paine. We have somebody that wants to be Amelia Earhart. I know our good friend Tanya, her kids will probably be involved with this as well. But sign up. The 250th anniversary. Our country started in the valley. So become part of this, folks. And go to Mountain Patriots, mtnpats.com or wakeupwinchester.com. Because we do need the help. And that's our education ministry that takes it back to you, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to mention that you don't have to act the part.
No.
If you're you want to be a storyteller and tell us some interesting stuff about historical figures that affected this country, we'd love it. That's exactly what we're going to do both.
We're going to do both.
So getting back to talking about where we are, one of the things that I've noticed is they bashed President Trump, calling him a fascist and everything else. And
that's our education system.
Yeah. And I think that affected the outcome of this past election. Now stop and think, and the same with Mondani. Stop and think what the fascist Mussolini did in Italy. What was he famous for? He was famous for making the trains run on time.
Yep.
What's Mondani want to do? He wants to be famous for making the buses run on time.
And they're free.
When the government controls the businesses, that's fascism. When the government owns the businesses, that's communism. And he wants to have government grocery stores. That's right. Communism. We need to do a lot of education in this country about what those things really are, and go to bat every time we hear a leftist talking head say something. We need to say something.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't be afraid.
We need to
be afraid.
Somebody, I forget, it might have been Megyn Kelly today. I heard somebody, they played a clip from Mondami, and I don't know where he was speaking, but he was talking about the rent controls and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing. I can't say it exactly what he said, but basically he said, if it takes us no more private ownership of property, let the government own your property, then we'll do it. So, I mean, he's telling you, he's full-blown communism. You're not going to own anything. The state's going to own it.
World Economic Forum, New World Order. You will own nothing and be happy. And we're seeing a piece of that right now. And folks, the Democrats are the ones that are keeping the country closed. There is a basic continuing resolution that would have funded the programs that we needed to do. Not $1.5 trillion that goes out to LGBTQ Awareness Month for women in Africa. It's not what this thing was about. And if they control your food and people are going, oh my gosh, I'm going to starve because I don't have anybody giving me food. They already control you. You lost.
Here's a thought about the continuing resolution.
Basic.
What the left wants to do is shut down this country again.
Yep.
Why? That's their only way of stopping Trump's economic engine.
Yep.
If they could do COVID, they would.
Yep. And they did it.
They did.
How'd that work out?
Guess what they're doing now? They're resisting the continuing resolution so that our airplanes will get shut down eventually.
Yep.
10% this week,
Yep.
20, 30, 40,
Yep.
50, pretty soon
And
100%.
it's not safe.
Right. That's their excuse. So I see that coming as their way of preventing Trump from being successful.
It's not going to happen. We'll be sitting on this for a few more weeks, but it's time to eliminate the filibuster. Let's get back to what needs to happen. And once the agenda actually gets put into place, people are going to see something happen like they've never seen ever. This country will spring to life. There's what is it, $22 trillion that have come in through tariffs. Why would you want to take money out of your pocket and hand it to somebody on the street that's doing absolutely nothing when we can put tariffs on something and let another country pay for our well-being where we live better? I mean, where is the basic common sense in that? They're making out where it's a win-win-win situation. We go the other way, which is what they're trying to do now, and it's control, control, control. For all of you adult children out there, don't you remember when mommy and daddy wouldn't let you go out and play and how upset you got at that point in time and you wanted to be an adult and have your own place so you could make your own decisions? Why do you want to go back to being a kid?
It I agree with you, but there's one thing that we're I guess I don't know if we're reluctant to talk about it or not, but a lot of this is a spiritual problem.
It's a very big spiritual problem.
The things that have been said over the last year, just about President Trump, but I don't know. Did you hear the news story about Haley McKnight, the Bozeman, Montana uh, councilman? I mean,
Mhm.
she left a voicemail for a state senator, and in the voicemail she says, "I hope that one day you get pancreatic cancer and it
And it
spreads
spreads
throughout your
through your
body
entire
so
body.
fast that you can't even be treated for it."
Right.
There was a I saw a story. I heard it about it on Gutfeld, and I looked it up. There is a transgender teacher in Danville Public Schools, which is just south of us, uh, who was ticked because I guess they made that person take their pronouns out of their emails. And this person posted a picture on social media of a person with their head bowed and a rainbow gun pointed at their head. Uh, uh, Put my pronouns back in my email. And and then we had Jay Jones, who said what he said about
Well,
shooting
Todd
his
Gilbert.
opponent and whizzing on dead kids' graves. What does that say about you as a human being if you're going to vote for people like that? Where is your humanity? Where is your uh, moral compass if that's what you are letting lead you? Those kinds of people, that frightens me more than anything else. I mean, I know that Satan's in the world and he's got his spirits and his minions,
Yes, he
and
does.
that satanic antichrist spirit is in the world, but we've never seen things like this before in this country. I mean, we've seen evil, but it's never been to this level that I can remember.
Ever. You know, I grew up in Baltimore, and I've said this before. Um, I was a conservative. I learned how to work, but then again, the Democrats work too. You know, we did not have any of this stuff. We didn't talk about whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a social. We just didn't. We all came in when the street lights went on, and we drank from the hose, and we all got along, and we played. I'm not going to. Well, if you say eeny, meeny, miny, mo, somebody's going to give you a hard time about it. I mean, you're like, seriously? Or you did the bat, you choked all the way up to the bat and put your hand on. I mean, we didn't have these problems. And I didn't look at my friend and say, well, you know what? Somebody go, oh, I'm going to kill you, man. If you keep that up, I'm going to kill it. It wasn't meant like, you know what? I'm going to come over to your house and I want you to watch your children die in your arms. That to me is unconscionable. So you're right, Scott. The spirituality, the Christness of this whole country is it's off the rails. If you can support something like that, please take me off of your friends list. Take me off of your friends list. You know, Charlie, what do you think?
I think it's a 2-minute warning.
I think you're exactly right. All right. Well, what we'll do is folks, we want this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Mountain Patriots is growing and it's expanding. I talked to so many people while I was out at the polls. They were looking at my sweatshirt, asking me, "Oh, we've heard of you. We've seen this." And I've had people go, there goes Mountain Patriots. No, we just trimmed the fat. Okay, just like any organization, just like Trump, we had to let people expose themselves for who they actually are. Okay. And now we've got people that are going, you know what? I have friends of mine that have been looking for, we are Christian people. We want to be a part of that. We heard about this. We heard what you did with the deer meat. We heard what you did with this person's house. That surprised me being out at the polls and somebody saying to me, "Oh, I remember you from last year. Man, we've got to come down there. We live right down there. Do you guys still do that?" I must have given away 30 cards. Okay, easily. So we are growing, we are building, we are getting people involved in our community. We're going to bring people together. We do not care if you are a Democrat. We do not care if you are a independent. We do not care if you're a Republican. We care if you are a red, white, and blue bleeding American that believes in God and country. Okay. I have friends of mine that are Democrats. I have friends of mine that are independents. What are you in for right now? What are you interested in? So hit us up on mountainpatriots.com or wakeupwinchester.com. Let us know if you want more information. We'll be doing all kinds of podcasts in the coming weeks as we grow this. And we try to help people out during the holidays because they're going to need help. A lot of people are going to be struggling. And I'm just going to put this out there. I think Watts needs help. I know CCAP, folks, if you're in Frederick County, CCAP, from what I'm understanding, the shelves are bare. I talked to Sheila today at Mountain Bliss. She says they need cereal. I've got a list. And I put it out on our Mountain Patriots thread. And she's going to need some help through the holidays. So with that being said, Scott, you got any famous last words, my friend?
I just think we all need to seriously get on our knees and pray because it's gonna take a lot of Daniel-like prayer to
Yeah,
see us through to the other side.
we're in the lion's den. And your uh, prayer the other night of explaining Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fourth person, that's where we are. I mean, that was very well done. And we do that in our Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries meetings on Monday nights. First and third Monday of the month, folks. Hit me up. Charlie, you got any last words before you do the prayer? Well, with that being said, folks, I want to thank everybody for taking this. Please like what you see. Help us with our algorithms. We actually started making money with it. We made 10 cents last week. Don't laugh, but you had to start somewhere. But please copy, paste this, share this, tell other people about what's going on. So comment, share, subscribe. And with that, Charlie, I'm going to turn it over to you for our Mountain Patriots prayer.
Okay, thank you. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world and this country that you've given us, and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic. Please help us to keep it as the aspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Folks, thank you very much for watching. Please, again, like, share, subscribe, comment. And as we like to say at Mountain Patriots, this one is
In the book.
Have a great night, folks, and we'll see you soon. Take care. God bless.